I think I got one in there. We got fine. I got what you need.
But, you know.
Are you going
Oh, you did make some smile. What's up? Come on. I thought we were closer than that.
It is 24, and the Wellington School Board of Education has been called to order. We will start by reading the mission statement that will be up on the bulletin board. We're going to read in unison. The mission of
Wellington City School District
is to create and maintain a highly effective educational system in which every student receives the highest quality education.
School employees and parents work together to prepare students to become caring, competent, and responsible citizens who value education as a lifelong process.
Thank you. Next item is the agenda review and approval. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Chair Hill, I need to add something.
Okay.
Paperless transition for the board.
Okay, we can add that under 10A. Paperless transition. Anything else for discussion? I mean, to add to the agenda? Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Is that everyone? Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the addition of 10A.
Okay, it's been motion properly second to approve tonight's agenda, with the addition of 10A. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, and the agenda has been approved. Now can I get a motion to approve the open session minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the open session minutes.
Okay, it's been motion and properly second to approve the open session minutes. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. And so forth. Next item is going to be recognition and upcoming school events, new hires, Ms. Angela Easter.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
To the board chair, vice, board and board members, and to everyone here today, locally and face to face. We welcome you to another opportunity to hear about the great things that are going on here at Weldon State Schools. I'll start off with our student of the month, Weldon Elementary Academy. This is Cordon Kennedy, third grade. Corbin is such a delight to his class, to have in class. He is a student who wastes no time. He comes into class, gets busy with his work and his assignment, and participates in class and follow instruction. I have no doubt that he will be have a remarkable and successful future. Congratulations, Lord. Get mom and family as well.
He's still smiling after taking all his tests. You do that too, right? A little bit, that's all right.
All right. Congratulations again. Weldon Middle School. Keyshawn Branch, sixth grade. I'm pleased to recommend Keyshawn Branch, a student of the week. Over the course of this school year, Keyshawn has demonstrated remarkable growth in both behavior and academics. While he faced some challenges early in the year, he committed to improving himself and that has become evident and commendable. Congratulations. And next we will have Weldon High School Career Academy's Aaliyah Majek, ninth grade. Aaliyah Majek was chosen as Weldon STEM High School Career Academy Student of the Month due to her hard work, outstanding character, willingness to assist her classmates and teachers. She is an honored student that always pours her all into her classwork. We are extremely proud of Aaliyah and all of her accomplishments as a ninth grader. We are looking forward to seeing what her bright future brings.
Well, live.
Oh, I get it. That's the thing I love about Weldon, man. We got family. We make her have a wide angle lens for purpose.
Perfect. And now we will have Ronald Valley Early College. And this is Mia Barber, 11th grade. Mia is an extremely focused and determined student who understands the necessity of hard work and work to accomplish her goals. Due to her tenacity and leadership abilities, Mia has been chosen to serve as a governor's page this summer. Ms. Barber is the epitome of a Roanoke Valley Early College student. We are proud to acknowledge her as Roanoke Valley Early College Student of the Month. Let's give her a handshake. Now we will have our employee of the month. Our employee of the month is Mrs. Jacqueline Smith. First grade teacher at Weldon Elementary Global Academy and bus driver. Ms. Smith has been a Weldon employee for over 20 years. Has been proven tried and true as she put students first. She was always prepared for every task, no matter how big or small. We are truly grateful that she's a part of our small family. She contributes greatly.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Are you coming on up?
No.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, ma'am. Let's take this and look at it. Awesome. I don't have it. All right, let's do that again.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert. Wonderful.
All right, now you get stuck over there.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. You ready, right?
We have the parent of the month, which is Mrs. Rosalind Clemens. Ms. Rosalind Clemens. Ms. Rosalind Clemens is a parent of Weldon Middle School, am I correct? Well, elementary school, so we'll be bringing Ms. Lee back in here. Mrs. Clemens, we chose this parent because she's consistently supportive to the school as she volunteers for events, proactively checking in to offer assistance with school initiatives and advocating for all students. She shares concerns thoughtfully and always offers solutions from a parent's perspective. Congratulations.
Serious section.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Oh, is it?
Awesome. Congratulations. So at this time, just want to share the end of the year celebrations and recognitions that have happened here, has happened in May. There has been many amazing highlights that have been displayed on our social media and our website, and we definitely would encourage you to go and see all the things that the students and staff are doing. We had the Roanoke Valley Early College Senior Banquet. We had Weldon STEM High School Career Academy Senior Banquet. We also had the Job Fair and Career Extravaganza at the Center for Energy, which our students attended. Weldon City Schools Job Fair and Career Day at Weldon Middle School, Weldon High School. We also had the Board of Education and Dr. Shotweather visit each school presenting gift cards to our all employees for teacher appreciation. We had the athletic banquet at Weldon STEM High School Career Academy and Weldon Middle School. Halifax Community College Early College Graduation, we had that as well, and Decision Day and much more. So for the end of the year, that's upcoming, the events that's upcoming, I want you to jot it down, remember it, or get with me, and I can share that information with you, but there's some things that are going on, I'll briefly share those. Presently, we have the Spring Band concert in full effect right now at HCC, started at 6 p.m. Unfortunately, they could not get another date, so this is the date that they had to utilize for that. Weldon Preschool Moving Up Ceremony is going to be tomorrow at 8:40 a.m. Roanoke Valley Early College Field Day will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Busch Gardens field trip will be May 19th with Weldon Middle School. Awards Day for Weldon Elementary Global Academy will be on the 20th, 8:40 for first and second grade, 9:50 for third and fourth grade. Eighth grade promotion ceremonies will be the 21st at 1 o'clock. Kindergarten moving up will be the 21st at 8:40 a.m. Fifth grade moving up 21st at 9:50. Weldon STEM Academy will have its academic awards day on the 27th at 6 p.m. Graduation practice for Roanoke Valley Early College and Weldon STEM High School Career Academies will be at 8 o'clock a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Griffin Center. And then we will have the grand finale, which is the graduation. Roanoke Valley Early College graduation will be at 10 a.m. and Weldon STEM High School Career Academy will be at 1 p.m. on the 28th of May. This concludes all our recognition and acknowledgement. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is public forum. Dr. Shotwell, do we have anyone for public forum?
Yes, ma'am, we have one person.
Okay, this is Ms. Cynthia Bird.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Cynthia Bird.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening. Good evening. Friends,
What
I stand to the podium or anything like that? No.
no, we don't
Right
have
there?
podium.
Right there would be-
But
Okay.
you do have 3 minutes and I need someone to take.
Utilize the corner of the table.
May I use this one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Stand back.
not good time.
Once you start, let her know you're ready. Let her know.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that I have 3 minutes. Is there a warning as the 3 minutes?
Because I was gonna ask.
I can put my hand up when there's a minute left if you like.
Whatever.
I
I
can
just
do
want to
that.
make sure about
Yeah,
the procedure.
So you know.
Yes, sir. I will
I'll put my hand
appreciate
up when there's a minute left, okay?
Thank you.
All right. I won't start until you start.
You're gonna take it.
Okay.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Cynthia Bird, and I come before you asking for your help. I come to you after 350 days of addressing the concerns that are still weighing heavily on my heart, that are still existing right now, and I'm bringing them to the board after having first addressed them in my home, then addressed them at the school level with the teachers, with the school counselor, with the principal. I've also met with the superintendent, and now I'm meeting with the board to bring to your knowledge these concerns. And my main question is, what is it costing our children? I do have a child who is a Weldon City Schools student. I am a Halifax County Weldon City Schools native and product of the school system. I love it dearly and I love the county. My child's name will not be called in this meeting because of the forum and because we are live and being recorded. However, I will say, just for the record, that my child is a student at Roanoke Valley Early College. And my concern is, what is education now, the way it's being presented, costing our children? The first thing that I'd like to talk about are instructional practices and leadership. When instructional practices are at the forefront, then it is student-centered. And that has not been the case for the last 350 days. And when I say 350 days, I'm talking about school calendar days, 180, and this is the second year. And I rounded it to 350 because we have about 10 left. When I'm asking the board, when the grades are computed this year, I want to see the evidence because I have yet to see the evidence of why the grades that are being recorded are being recorded. When I ask for information, when I ask for meetings, and promises are made to me, and I still have not seen it. And I want to know, not just when grades are calculated, but I want to know in a timely manner, because after the fact, help is not really help. Because of the interest of time, I will move to my second concern, which is individual student learning and support. 504s exist for a reason. When a 504 is presented to a school with physicians' documentation, my question is, why isn't it put in place? And when the school says, we don't need that because we have structures and requests are made, inform the children of the structures, inform the parents of the structures. Let us see the structures in writing, and still I have not seen them. That is not acceptable. And then my third concern is a hostile environment and parent exclusion. As a parent, I expect to know what my child is being taught, when my child is being taught. I expect to see a calendar, a schedule. What's the testing schedule? When is the information being covered? How is it being covered? I don't mean as an educator, I mean as a parent. And that is something that I should have full access to. Where's the school improvement plan? Where's the PTA? Where is the parent advisory committee that I've heard about? How do parents, which I am one, get access to it? At this time, I request the extended time that is available if you will grant it for me tonight.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just check that really quick. I don't know if there is extended time.
I received a yes. Do I continue or am I waiting now?
Council is checking. to
Okay.
see.
Your board members, your board policy allows for 3 minutes to present comments. If there's more, if there's more folks signed up to fit within the 30-minute overall window, you have the authority to reduce the time for each individual. And then if a speaker is unable to present all of his or her information within the specified time limit, the speaker may provide the board with the additional information in written form. So there's not an option in your policy for extending the public comment period other than to accept written information.
Ms. Bird, would you be willing to send us the information written?
My answer to that question, Madam Chairperson or Vice Chair, Madam Chairperson, is yes, that I will submit my information in writing. And because there was a discrepancy where I was given a yes, then we found there wasn't time, may I please make one closing statement?
Yes.
Okay, then I do want to share that my child is a member of the National Beta Club in good academic standing, and my child is a member of Phi Theta Kappa at the community college in good academic standing, just so that there won't be a concern that I want that known about my child as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. Don't keep the phone.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next item is reports, and we'll start off with A, and it's Educentric, Ms. Deborah Jones, DJ.
And this is Deborah Jones right here, Dr. Deborah Jones. And she's here to talk about the Educentric program. We had talked about it before. Questions were asked about there's other districts using it in North Carolina. There are some now. The other reason that we're bringing her back is that if you all agree to go with this, she would be our coach for our school. And she has extensive work with Weldon, even though she is a friend of mine through Guilford County Schools. You know, an outstanding principal in her own right.
How do you want me to be in Madam Chair?
Ma'am.
You want me to just explain the process? or-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Proceed how you feel.
all right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Feel like I've come back home today. My name is Deborah Jones. They call me DJ. I am a retired principal from the Guilford County Schools, I retired 20 years ago. I started my own business, Educational Leadership Consulting. I'm an independent contractor. And with this company, EduCentric, I'm subcontracting to do work with them as a navigator coach. Meaning I work directly at the school level with principals in the school and the teachers. Tonight is like a sales pitch. That is not my thing. But because a friend of mine asked me to come here, that's why I'm here. I'm the only one. I had the fortune of meeting Ms. Hale before and going through this. I'm gonna quickly explain to you what the process is. EduCentric is a company, and it's designed to work with schools in the area of school improvement. And what we have here is a little bit unique, which is why I came on board with this company. It's a framework. It's not a curriculum. It's not just bringing in a bunch of new stuff for you to do. It's how you do things. And it's a 4-step process here. And what you have on this one page are the 4 phases that you go through if you contract with this company. And phase 1 is what we call onboarding. Once a contract is signed with the school district, I'm not involved with that. We will have people who will come in, work with the central office level. One of the key components of phase 1 is we will survey teachers and parents to get their input on the schools that are assigned. The schools that are assigned are decided by the superintendent and his end, not us. It will take about 6 to 8 weeks to collect a lot of data. So we will have a report to guide the next phase. So know that phase 1 takes some time. And it's important that we get this information because it's the foundation of how we plan to work with the school. Now, phase 2 is where I step in. I'm called a navigator/coach. You will see with this framework, it's very heavy in the business world. They use the same language and vocabulary as you would find in a business, but it's some of the same things we've been doing in education. So it's not typically new, but it surely is different. Okay. Phase 2, we come in and do 2 days of training with the principal and the team that's been designated at the school. Usually 5 people are on this team. And hopefully, in my experiences so far, 5 of your best people in that they see this school in a positive light and will see this school and willing to do the work to make it even better. You need to have the right people on the team with the principal. That is key. And people who are open for change. If you're not open for change, this will not work. You have to want something different. There's a quote in a video called 212, and I advise people to look at it. Simple Truths put it out, 212 degrees. To get what we never had, we must do what we've never done. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, maybe making 1 or 2 points of improvement. That is not enough when your school has been struggling for years. So with this framework, we're saying we're making what's called transformational change, change that will move you to bigger leaps and bounds, not incremental change, one baby step after another. So with the launch training, it's 2 days of working with this team, teaching the team members on day 1 a lot about what change is and so forth. Day 2 is when we get down to the work. We actually create a new flight plan, or what we would call a school improvement plan. It's usually 2 pages, and we limit it to 2 to 3 priority objectives. We have a method for determining priority objectives. We will ask your school to give us 6 things you think that will make a difference. That's 6 things too many. As we take you through the steps, we're going to whittle that down to the most impactful 2 that will move this school in a faster and a greater amount of improvement. That's 2 days. That's one of the differences in this model over some other school improvement things. Phase 3, and the navigator coach starts at phase 2. Phase 3 is now that the plan is in place, you get 25 what we call huddle sessions. They are virtual, where my job is to work closely with the team and the principal. If we put it in the plan, you have to do it. If you're not doing it, you're gonna have to tell me why. If you still don't want to do it, then you're gonna have to tell your superintendent why. There's a lot of accountability with this as well as support. Now, I have agreed and I have permission from the owner that with one of my, because of my connection here, and I don't mind doing this, I will come once a month in person to meet with the team versus doing everything online. Sometimes I have to just see it. I have to feel it in the building. And so I would be, for instance, one virtual meeting with the administration team, and then 1 month or once a month, I would come for a 2 to 3 hour visit at the school level. That is typically not in this model. I'm working in Hope County now. That's what we've been doing there since January. And by the way, the districts that have done this, Hertford County has an educentric framework, Alamance Burlington, Hope County. And they all started at odd times of the year. No one started in August. But this is a 12-month commitment. It's 12 months. So, for instance, for Hope County, I will finish January 2026. So starting in the middle of the year is a little awkward, but we got ourselves going. You have your sessions in phase 3, and then we come back to phase 4, we call the landing, where we come back and we look at all the information we collected in the first one about the needs assessment, the customer survey, we compare before and after. We're looking at test scores. The thing about this framework is this, it's a lot of accountability and things have to be measurable. We do qualitative, we want to hear comments, we want to hear people's opinions. That's part of collecting information. But we also have to be honest and look at the reality of today. It's all about test scores. That's important too. So we do a lot of data collecting throughout the process. The key result indicator for North Carolina would be the end of grade test or end of course test. But before you get to that point, what are you doing along the way? And we have checkpoints built in, and that is decided by the team at the 2-day launch. Now, once we have that flight plan, we can still go back and make adjustments. But once that plan is in place, the coaching starts and we take off, and we take off quickly. Anything I missed that?
I think that was basically everything you went over. Any questions from anyone?
Yes, Ms. DJ, so you say you started in Hertford County. How long ago was that when you started?
They started, I think, back the same time, back in December, January. And, or it may have been November. They didn't start at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
See, one of the advantages is the commitment is now we try to get going, because remember, it takes a while to collect this other data so we can start closer to the beginning of the school year. And depending on the principal, for instance, if you have beginning principals, the way you work with a beginning principal is not the same way you work with a veteran principal. It isn't in my book. I do think a little different. I make sure a lot more things are in place for a beginning principal, because they're still lacking some of the experience of knowing what happens on the job. So the sooner you can get in, at the beginning of the year, you can really set the focus and direction. And that's what this does. Because we will determine what's called a North Star metric. That will be our guiding star through the whole process. And an example of some of the North Star metrics that schools are working with, moving from an F to a C. That's a big lump, big jump. F to a D is not a big jump. F to a C is a big jump. That's their metric. So everything in our plan is geared towards meeting that metric And looking at what we call the value proposition is, what's so unique about the school? Why would somebody want to go to Global Academy? Because you're competing for students in this district. And I remember when I was working here before, you were still competing with Kip Academy.
Yep.
Kip Academy was still in the best elementary kids right before testing from the elementary school. So what's unique about your Global Academy aligned with your North Star metric, making those things work together to have improved student academic achievement and also an overall school environment where parents want to come to your school. They want to stay in your school and they want to stay in your district.
So what school districts have you worked with or you completed the program and kind of what have been those results?
None in North Carolina.
Okay,
We are in 21 different states.
okay,
And most of them are in Texas because my former superintendent and founder, that's where his last job was.
okay.
And a lot of them were special programs. So for one, I think Baylor is one that stands out. It's a high school. And they were like school within a school program.
Mhm.
And their North Star metric was to increase the number of kids who'd be prepared to go into from a middle school to Baylor Elementary and high school in a health field curriculum. So what they had to do is create the environment and the framework to prepare kids to get accepted into this special program at the high school. And they were able to do that. North Carolina is still new.
What's the cost?
Normally it's 60,000 per school, but because we're gonna try to do two, it'd be 45 for each. And a lot of that deals with bringing in the training for the 2 days, also bringing in people to do the assessment with surveys, existing information that we have, but really, where the proof's in the pudding is when we come out of the 2-day training and the school has a plan, their North Star, this is what we want to do. And what it does is when you go back and you start asking questions, because, there have been boards that have done this, who will have things up on their wall and say, this is what we believe. And then when somebody on the board brings up something that doesn't have anything to do with their mission, other board members kind of keep it in check. And so this is really what we're doing right here. When somebody brings something up, how is this going to help us hit our core mission? Because one of them might be, we'd like to make sure that all of our kids are reading on grade level before they leave the 3rd grade.
And we have to think of ways to measure that along the way. So we might say every month we're going to create our own assessment. We're going to build in interventions along the way. We're going to do more professional development for teachers. Now, I will be the first one to tell you who's going to complain the most. You know who's going to complain the most? The teachers. The teachers. They'll be running to you. They're making us do some stuff we don't want to do. That's typical. That's what I've learned in my experiences since I've been doing this. I started doing this through DPI, where I got my training for school improvement. My first assignment was Winston-Salem Forsyth County. My second assignment was Weldon-Salem Elementary School. So I was here for about a school year working with the elementary school. The adults are the ones who will make the difference. It's not the child, it's the grown-ups in the building who will make the difference. And their commitment to doing things. If you have a school that has a lot of new teachers, especially teachers who are not trained in education, teaching is their second career, they need a lot of professional development and learning. They need a lot of support from that end. They help them learn how to become teachers quickly. Quickly. And so, for instance, at my current school, we built in a professional development priority objective. And from the moment we started, the end of January, they've been doing many sessions from February, March, April. We don't do stuff like that testing month. May is off limits. But we know that over the summer, we're planning a more detailed professional development plan for the next year. Now, and connecting that, if we know we're going to teach you a skill, then the principal has to walk around and document evidence of you using it. Give teachers feedback. So it's really a lot of buy-in, but it's also a lot of collaboration and support, especially at the school level.
Because I feel like part of the secret sauce is really the coaching of the principal and the leadership team. And holding them accountable, because it's so easy to say, okay, well, I got pictures this week, I really can't do the meeting. Or I've got this coming up, I really can't do the meeting. There's a commitment in this that they've got to meet this. The other reason that I like having Dr. Jones here is one, that she's familiar with welding. So she knows what she's walking into when she's coming over here to work with the elementary school and middle school. And the other piece is that she was, her school was one of the most highest impacted schools in Guilford County, and they were Title I School of the Year for the nation.
No, I was not that one.
Oh, come on now.
That was not me.
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would know.
Just know that Hampton was a school that made a huge turnaround under your
We
leadership.
did a lot of work, but we had a lot of school and community support that made a difference. Yeah, that school no longer exists. It got destroyed by the tornado. So it was demolished. So, but thank you for this opportunity to come and share this with me, and I'll be glad to come back and work with you in the future. Just hopefully make a decision quick, because they're trying to assign me to some other places. And I told them I'm not doing a lot of work the next couple of years. This is year 50 for me in education, so I'm about ready to start slowing down. Thank you.
I believe that when I see it these days.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dr.
John.
Jones.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Report, Dr. Rodney Trotsville.
Thank you, Ms. Haley.
You're welcome.
First of all, there's just so many things going on at the end of the school year that I get the most excited, because we're recognizing academic achievement, especially this next week. And I'm looking forward to going out to the banquet, the recognitions at the various schools. And just really excited, because it's a culmination of hard work. And when I think about hard work, I think about our teachers. The core, we've got supporting staff, we've got teacher assistants, but getting those teachers in our classroom to give our kids the very best is job number one. And one of the things that I feel like that we can do with that is bringing a teaching supplement into an existence for Weldon City Schools. As I've said in the past, a couple of meetings, we have the funds that are coming in through the supplemental tax that will pay for this, not just this next year, but subsequent years. It is a sustainable form of revenue that we can rely on for our teachers. And when I gave you the different scenarios, I gave you the scenario A, B, and C. I know y'all seen this probably 1,000 times. And then I gave you on the backside what it would cost. And in the green, there's still, even with the money that we've got budgeted in the upcoming budget in our local, in 001, we have money in there that if you approve this for the teachers, we'll bring back a scale for our classified employees as well. But right now, we don't have school without students and teachers. If we have to have teachers to teach, and we want the very best teachers to teach our kids here in Weldon. And I feel like this is a wonderful step, because now you're talking about, let's say, okay, so outside of the state salary, what do I get if I decide to come to Weldon City Schools? Okay, we do get a low wealth teacher supplement. And this year it's a little over $3,700 per teacher. And they're going to get that paid to them first week in June. So there's no tax implications for their last paycheck in December. Thinking about our employees. But now you can say to somebody who's got 21 years experience or more, not only are you going to get that, but you're going to get $5,000 on top of that. In Eastern North Carolina, you've got to start somewhere. And I think that is a huge impact when you start looking at what some of the other districts offer it makes Wilton City Schools near the top to be competitive. And again, I've given you 3 different scenarios. The recommendation that I'm bringing to you is option A, where a beginning teacher would make $2,500. A teacher with 21 years or more would make $5,000. And and all the numbers that you saw on this are all based on what if we gave the supplement this year? How much would it cost on the folks that are working for us right here? I feel like that this is probably one of the most important things that you can look at and do. If you approve this, you can add things down the road, like I had mentioned, that if a teacher shows growth for 2 years in a row, they can bump up another step from where they are. Or if a teacher's not performing, you can take them down a step. I mean, there are different things that you could do to it, but for right now, I just think it's really just important for us to send a clear message that we really want the very best teachers coming to Wilton City Schools.
Dr. Shotwell, I do agree with you, and I'm not opposed to the supplement for teachers. Actually, I think it's a great idea. But we have three options to choose from.
Mhm.
And I would like to know the pleasure of the board, which option are we choosing to go with at this time, A, B, or C?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I've said before, I certainly appreciate this. This is something I have been asking for the last 14 years. So I'm glad to see this being put in place. In addition to getting something for our teachers, because they definitely deserve it. But our classified staff as well
Mhm.
deserve something. So what you have presented to us, if I look at the second sheet, this is just for teachers. You're going to bring back something to us for classified,
Yes, ma'am.
right? In addition to, so if the number that you're thinking about, if we go with, just say we went for the one that gives the most money, are we still gonna have enough money to give something to our classified?
Yes, because like if you went with A, based on the budgeted amount that we have in the proposed 25-26 budget, you would still have $151,906 that could be utilized to come up with some type of classified.
For classified, okay.
The sheet that you gave us last time with the amounts of them.
Yes, ma'am.
I know, I have it,
Is that
but
the
you don't have it like that.
To this.
Let me see your sheets, let me see this one on. You hold up and up.
That's it.
Yes.
It's on there.
I know.
This is our name.
It'll make it go up to the
All right, so what is the A, B, or C? Not really know which one I'm choosing. Ms. Jenkins, A, B, or C? We have that. Oh, well. Okay, first of all, choose the one we're gonna choose, right? Or is there a motion, did anyone want to give a motion as to which one they want to choose? And they could be voted up or down.
You can certainly have more discussion prior to a motion being made if you want to proceed in that manner. Otherwise, if there's an option that a board member wants to support, you should certainly make a motion, then there'd be the need for a second, and any discussion from there. It really depends on how you want to proceed.
The second page you're gonna see on sheet 2, Dan, if you hit the bottom tab on the bottom.
What is the pleasure of the board? You all want any more discussion?
One additional question.
Okay, Dr. Shotwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Question?
I just want to be clear. This is in addition to the low wealth
Yes,
supplement.
yes, ma'am. And as I tried to give an exhaustive list of the people that would be receiving this, anybody who is an assistant principal on up, works at the central office, are not getting the teacher supplement.
Dr. Shotwell, I apologize for not asking this earlier, but just a clarifying question on that. So this supplement would apply to any staff member who meets the statutory definition of a teacher. Is that right? Not just your literal classroom.
Right,
teacher,
that is correct.
but anyone within that definition of teacher.
Who has that certification that's working with children on a daily basis, has a professional certification to work with children every day. So your school nurses are going to be involved in this,
Your instructional support. staff.
instructional support staff, because that's part of an allotment that comes to us as professional staff.
So your counselors,
Yes.
curriculum people
Right,
at the school.
just because that's been, there have been other districts that have approved supplements without being very clear on who it applies to. So this would be anyone who meets that statutory definition, which again, is not just your classroom teachers, that's instructional support staff, your counselors, your nurses. There's a whole bucket of positions that BPI considers to be within that definition. And this amount covers that entire.
Yes.
Do we have a clause, because you said something depending on performance or something like that, is there a
That's something
clause?
that you all could add down the
that we
road.
can add?
I think this is a great beginning.
Well, absolutely.
And as, you know, some of you have mentioned, you don't want to reward everybody the same thing if they're not doing a great job. So this is another way that you could deviate and reward folks that are going above and beyond.
Do we need to, have more discussion on this before we vote on it? That's ready? Machines, you explain it to us?
You want to vote now?
First of all, we have to choose which option we're gonna go with.
Okay.
I would recommend B. I mean, it's the lower of the options, but it does give us an opportunity. If we do come into a lean year, we could still have money available to pay it versus, giving something and taking it back. So I would prefer to start lower. I mean, while I do agree that the teachers and staff, they do deserve something, and I want to give them something, but I don't want to bite off more than we can chew in the very beginning. So let's start and take baby steps versus.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this, they're getting zero right now.
Right.
So, I mean, whatever you do is gonna be a welcome,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That gives us some flexibility to move to a higher level if.
And that's still a really good supplement for folks.
It is.
I would
That was what I
choose C
said.
two.
We could go down just a little bit.
Well.
So now you make a motion?
So somebody, I make a motion that we approve, option B for our teacher supplement.
Okay, it's been motion properly second to approve, option B as our teacher supplement. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, and we have chosen option B.
On behalf of your staff, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And this will go into effect,
25-26
25,
school year.
26 school year.
So now we can start recruiting.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is. You finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Board chair report. And, I'd like to start off by saying, as we approach the end of another successful school year, on behalf of the board, I want to take a moment to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to everyone who played a part in making this year a positive and productive one. To our dedicated educators, support staff, administrators, and volunteers, thank you for your hard work and commitment, especially during testing seasons. We are grateful to those that helped facilitate the end of grade testing this past week, and we hope our students perform their very best. We're also praying for strong outcomes as our high school students prepare to take the end of course test next week, and those that have makeup tests next week as well. A special thank you to everyone who helped organize and support both our senior banquets and the athletic banquet. These events were a beautiful celebration of our students' achievements and a testament to the teamwork and charge of spirit that defines our district. I actually hate that we missed the band spring concert tonight, because supporting our students is definitely something that our board takes great pride in every possible way. As we look ahead, we're excited about the upcoming transitional programs and graduation ceremonies. These milestones are incredibly important to our students and our families, and we look forward to celebrating together as a community. We are reminded that the end of the school year is not just a closing, it's also a beginning. And speaking of new beginnings, I want to share some things especially meaningful. I want to take a moment to address something significant for our district's future. For more than 2 years, Weldon City Schools has been without a permanent superintendent. We have been incredibly fortunate to have Dr. Shotwell serve as interim capacity and provide steady, experienced leadership. He stepped in with steady hands and a servant's heart in April of last year, and his impact on our district will be felt for years to come. His guidance has been a true blessing to our district, and we thank him for his time, dedication, and his heart for Weldon.
There we go.
That said, we all know that he can't stay forever, right? The Weldon City Schools Board of Education has made a confident and unified decision to move forward, and we are proud to announce that we have named our next superintendent, Dr. Tammy Boone.
Finally, I can finally say something.
Dr. Boone is one of our own, having joined us earlier this year. She currently serves as our Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction and brings with her extensive experience in education and leadership. Her passion, professionalism, and commitment to student achievement have already made a meaningful impact, and we are excited about her continued leadership in this new role. Since joining us, she has already become a trusted leader, a visible presence, a true advocate for academic excellence, committed to the same vision we all share, that every child in Weldon deserves the very best. Dr. Boone will officially begin her duties on July 1st, and we are planning a swearing-in ceremony and a community meet and greet in June, where all are welcome to attend and show your support. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Boone if she would like to offer a few words.
There you go.
Everybody-
Yay!
I would first of all like to say good evening, everyone. And I would especially like to say that I am deeply grateful for the opportunity. I'm very excited, a little nervous, but excited to get started and to do the very best that I can to help move Weldon City Schools forward, not backwards. I believe we are on the cusp of doing some wonderful things. And I am thankful to be a part of those wonderful things that are going to happen. So I thank the board for your confidence and your selection of yours truly as your next leader to take on. And I will do the very best that I have inside of me to try to make Weldon City Schools the best place that it can be for our students and to put education at the forefront and to make sure that we are doing things. I know we're not supposed to use the word equity, but I'm going to say we are going to do the best that we can to make decisions in an equitable manner so that it will, we want all of our children to be represented, to be educated, and to be taken care of.
Yes.
So again, I say thank you once again. And that is it.
And there's no take back now. And I just sent an email to all staff.
Okay.
With the press, hey man, I'm trying to get on this.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask if there's a motion to appoint and approve Dr. Boone's contract to become Weldon City School Superintendent commencing July 1st, 2025 and ending on June 30th, 2029.
I move that the Weldon City School Board of Education appoint Dr. Tammy Boone as its next superintendent with a start date of July 1st, 2025. And further, that the board approve the terms of the superintendent contract with Dr. Boone as discussed in closed session.
Second.
It's been motioned properly second to approve Dr. Boone, appoint and approve Dr. Boone contract to become Weldon City Schools Superintendent. Are there any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, and congratulations, Dr. Boone, you are now part of, well, you are. Starting July 1st. We welcome Dr. Boone into this role with open arms and open heart. Her journey is now Weldon's journey, and we look forward to walking this path together. In closing, because I've talked too much already, let's stay focused and energized as we finish the year strong with Charge of Pride leading the way. Thanks again, everyone, for all that you do. That concludes my comments. Next item on the agenda is going to be our financial report. Ms. Kathy Kidd.
So Ms. Tiffany Hale, Board Chair, Board members, Dr. Shotwell, and all others in attendance, good evening.
Good evening.
I stand before you to present the following budget amendments for approval. I have term expense amendments number 1 and number 2, and local amendments number 8, number 10, and number 11. Do you have any questions?
I have a question. The C.L. Kelly Educational Trust,
Yes.
it would increase,
Yes.
so we received a check for $5,439.
Yes, that's the only check we have received thus far this year. We have been in contact with the gentleman with Co-America where the checks come from, and there were 3 checks that were mailed out that have not been received and were lost. So he's having to do a stop payment on those checks, and they will be issued. I spoke with him this morning, and he said possibly this week or early next week.
Okay, and they will be awarded to both schools. Is that correct? So it'll be 4 checks in total.
Well, I'm not sure how many students, recipients we'll have, but yes, each school will get 2 checks.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are in the process of making sure we have a process in place to award the scholarships. So after making contact with the young man at Co-America, then we went back and we were revising the application process. As a matter of fact, it went out to students on yesterday, and applications, I know it's a short turnaround period, but it went out and those applications are due back tomorrow. Actually, it may have gone out Tuesday. We don't have much time to, allot for the application period because we're almost at the end of the school year and we want to make sure that students are awarded the applications. So I know RVEC has released their application. They released it on Tuesday and so did the high school. So we're planning to have interviews with those students who have submitted applications. Yes, it will be a quick turnaround period because those interviews will take place next week, and we're hopeful to announce those awards at graduation. 2 for RVEC at least, and 2 at least for the high school. I say at least because we are planning to meet with the principals and counselors, and based on the exact amount, it could be that more than 2 students are awarded. But we do know at least 2 per student.
But it's 5,000 for the whole district. I mean, for the whole. 5,000 per school.
Yeah, and actually the checks that were never cashed, Mrs. Kidd asked the young man at Co-America to reissue those checks. So right now, we're sitting at, once we receive the money, we're sitting at least 10,000 per school. So that's why I say at least 2. Now, I have no idea where the checks are. I mean, don't know, but all I know is they aren't counted.
Okay, when she first said that, I was thinking, you said they got lost in the mail,
We
right?
don't know. He said possibly because they were mailed out.
But those checks, I was thinking that this was for this school year, so I was thinking that it was gonna be 5,000, 5,000 for each check, right?
Yes.
But those are from previous years?
3 of them are, yes. We've only received 1 this year, and that was for RVEC. And then when we were questioned, we called him about the check for the high school. Then he looked it up and he stated that that check has never been cashed. So then we proceeded to ask him about, okay, check last year. So he checked last year and there were 2 checks. They never were cashed either.
Right.
So So he's gonna stop payment on them. He said as soon as there is returned to their account, he'll be issued those checks.
So normally it would have just been just the 5,000.
5,000 per, yes,
Okay.
per school, yes.
Per school.
Per school, per
School
school,
would have normally been 5,000 per school.
yes.
Right, but it's 3 checks, okay.
But the good thing is, he was willing
It
to
was
reissue.
reissued,
Yes.
exactly,
They had not been
exactly.
cash, so, we did, Ms. Kidd and I, we did have some conversation about it. I know we might be opening up Pandora's box, but just doing a deeper study to find out exactly what we need to know moving forward, as far as that's concerned, to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Right.
And we do know that some of the addresses were off that he called out. We couldn't figure out where those addresses even exist. But again, the good thing is at least we will get it, so, and the students will be able to get it.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve the amendments?
So moved.
Could you state?
I make a motion that we approve, local amendment 11. Okay. All right, local amendments 8, 10, and 11, and current expense amendments 1 and 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this has been properly motioned and seconded to approve the budget amendments that were presented to us. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, and the amendments have been approved. Thank you. Next item. Does anybody have any questions?
Financial statements and
And statements are for your review, if you don't have any questions on those. And then the budget. And that's-
Oh,
Are they voting on that too?
thank you for looking at me like that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're at, last week we gave you the draft, state, federal, and, child nutrition budget. And we do need an approval for that. We've already submitted the current expense budget and capital budget because you approved that on April the 20th, which is required by general statute. And again, this is just an estimate. It's a draft budget, but we haven't even gotten, our allotment for federal for this next year. We're just kind of basing it on what we've done this year and what we anticipate for next year. It just gives us a good way to start and plan.
So I'm requesting approval for the proposed budgets for the 25-26 school year. For the state budget, federal, local, and child nutrition budgets.
Yeah, local restricted, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the budget for local, state, child nutrition, and federal.
Okay, the motion properly second to approve the budget for state, federal, child nutrition and local budgets for 25-26 school year. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, and the budget has been approved. Next item is federal programs. Thank you so much, Ms. Kidd.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Kidd.
Next item on the agenda is federal programs and student services, Ms. Janika Riddick-Colton.
Good evening, Board Chair Hill, Vice Chair David, and board members, Dr. Shotwell. I want to be very quick. Most of the things I have for you to view, you can look at them, and if you have additional questions, I'll be happy to dive in deep for you. The first page has the current grants awarded. Since April board meeting, we didn't have any grants that came in after that. We had the 81 homeless and foster transportation grant. I don't like calling out those numbers in order. You can see them on the page. The purpose of that grant is to offset and via reimbursement process, the extraordinary costs incurred due to students identified as homeless. We have a large percent of our students who are homeless, who we have to transport from a great distance. And this funds is based on how many homeless students we have identified and how much funds that we expend in our transportation. We've done a much better job this year of properly coding those funds as to not create a deficit for the state transportation budget. And this will help offset those costs that we've incurred. We're still waiting on the 145, the NC Stronger Connections grant. There's been some confusion because that is a flow-through grant basically from the federal level. And some of the parts of that Stronger Connections grant, the federal government has decided they're not going to fund. But the state has not finished going through all of our grant applications and deciding what we would receive if they award anything. So right now, we're still in the process with the State Department. And the most that we could receive is $200,000. We have, since this was submitted, we have received notifications of some federal budgets, some federal grants, excuse me, that are out there for us to seek funds related to safe schools. So we are working on that process to try to see how we can apply for those grants. We've started that process, but what we want to apply for. So what we only thing we've started so far is the shell, putting in our district information, making sure we have access to the federalgrants.gov website. But we will meet and we're required to include stakeholders such as the Sheriff's Department, mental health providers, parents, our community stakeholders, just to review as we do with all federal grants. So right now, Sergeant Vaughn is in on our kind of circle, Mr. Hunter, because a lot of the things that could happen could be a physical plant, a physical structure safety. For student services, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I just put some brief information that was shared via our all call system, the text alerts, emails, for anyone who has an email address in our system, but at the back, you have the full copy of that flyer. You just can't interact with the videos. Videos has been the most hits on our student services posters and flyers. We can see how many clicks people have. So the more videos we include, the more connection we have and to get the information out. There's information in there for students and parents that could be helpful when a person is in crisis. This probably should have been out in the other order, but the safety grant that we received, the big grant that we did receive last, I just did a little highlight into what we have done so far with that grant. We have less than $100,000 left to spend, so we've spent, we're only waiting on a few quotes. So most of the things you can either see when you visit the school, they can do the video chat, the back and forth conversation, not just buzzing everyone in. And the new weapons detection system, they're going to try that out on the first day of summer school to see how that runs. You're dealing with a smaller group of students, give them a chance to see if they've got everything calibrated properly. Chronic absenteeism. I continue to talk about that at each one of our board meetings because it is one of the topics that's being discussed as included in the school letter grade configuration, absenteeism. So we want to keep our eye on improving that process. And the way to do that is to always know where you are. A lot of people, when they think about data, they think about test scores. But the attendance of our students, when you see how many students are missing a large percentage of their school year, is really hard to teach them if we can't get them here. And many of them have various reasons, but our social worker and our school staff are calling and visiting and trying to get those parents to see that the children need to be in school. It might be harder to see this on the screen here, but you can see it on your assembly on the file. You can click on that. That gives it by grade level. We're tracking it every last day of the school month so that we can see. For one, how do we prepare when we have dips in our attendance? How can we be proactive the next school year? If we notice that even a certain grade level is having an issue, do we need to do something to incentivize attendance? If students are we've done a deeper dive now, not just about the month, but even the day of the week where our students, we're having the most attendance issues. If you go 2 pages over, you can see the absences by weekday. Thursday is a habitual absence for our district. That's the largest one. You might think it would be Monday or Friday, but Thursday outweighs both of those. Wednesday is a much better day. So if the teachers are going to try to do something to really hold those students and to maybe get a test to determine, who knows, if you're doing it on Thursday, you're missing a whole lot of your kids. And parties as well. As with attendance, parties Thursday, Monday and Thursday are almost neck and neck. So that's data that schools can use to try to prepare in their attendance committees to try to help determine what's happening on those days. We have 70 McKinney-Vento students currently identified, 65, that number change is portrayed here on the slide because I was able to change the slide, but on your printed document where it was 47, now it's 70. 65 of those are students that are in school. 5 of those are from 0 to 5 or 18 to 21. We can count those and serve those in our homeless, so it's only 5 of those. That's listed there. 65 are students that are actually in our classrooms. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The information that you gave about the absences,
Yes, ma'am.
the attendance, has that been, shared with the principals at the different schools?
Yes,
So that they could deliver the information to their teachers so that they would know? You know, because it helps to prepare for the lessons, that week.
And we see the graph here, but we also print it out. And this graph is a part of a shared spreadsheet that's shared with our counselors, social worker principals, assistant principal, curriculum department. But I also shared and printed out a copy because I didn't want to put that in a Google Drive, but each principal received a list of who is actually considered chronically absent, how many absences those individual students have had, so they can see the students behind the numbers. But each principal received that in interdepartmental mail this week. And so we'll do that every month moving forward too. Although they could pull that report in the process of what principals have to do on a daily basis and some of the things that our counselors and social work are trying to deal with just to get students physically through the day. If that's something that I could provide for them to take that burden off of them and have to go in and print that report, then that's not a problem. I have to print it and see it for myself. So to print a copy and put it in a folder is getting that information to them in a faster manner.
And is attendance done around the same time for all the schools? Because I know that kids, we have a lot of tardies too, but a lot of kids come to school late. And they may not even be, once that person, whomever's checking them in, whether they're there or not, if they're not there, they're gonna check them absent. Is anybody going back and changing it, saying that this child has come in late? Or I know that may be the case with some of them, but you may have some that you've missed, but they're there. And I can say that because that has happened to me. And they called me and tell me my son was not in school today, but he was there.
If it makes you feel any better, I get calls from Josh too, if he's a little bit late.
Yeah, so that
So,
could be counted
Yeah.
in here as an absence when actually
Yeah.
the child is really there.
But are we taking attendance?
Yes,
High school, it should be every period.
it's every
So it
period,
should
and
be,
it's the same thing in middle school too.
right,
And so when kids sign in, they sign in and that they're supposed to reconcile the check-in with the data. And then if they can't get in, that's when they can talk to Ms. Robinson over here and get that fixed if they need to.
And that's what I
The
did.
system connects to the Infinite Campus. So if the students actually go into the office and sign in there, it reconciles that
Right there,
information. But we
right.
didn't start Infinite Campus at the beginning of the year. But that is actually working now. They do have new systems, new computers, updated everything. Ms. Akila is the attendance.
I know.
But I do look at the data because that is a part of the student services, but she's doing good job of trying to figure out, if parents call and say my child was there, then they go and talk to the teachers to try to figure out, and we're trying to figure out how are students getting by the office, you know, and not signing in, or how is it not connecting? It's a lot easier now at the elementary school because they can't go through that other door until they're buzzed in. So there's a little buffer or barrier there for them than it was before, when some kids could kind of slip through. But whatever we could do to improve, I'm sure that the team is open into looking at what's going on.
Well, I will say that ever since that new system has been set up, I will say that I don't think I have received any calls that told me that he was absent and he was actually there. So that may have helped a lot too.
Hopefully we're in a better place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, any other questions?
Not a question, but just a comment. I know that Ms. Whitaker has utilized the funding that my family and I put together, Birds and Robinsons, where we can support students with shelter and food. I know that we've done some things with shelter, we've done some things with food, but those funds are there. Okay, but it's not a whole lot, but some of us have come together and put some things. So if you need something there like immediate, let me know and we can.
And sometimes we get a parent who calls at 3 o'clock and said they went home from work and their things are on the front.
Right.
So, again, I'm thankful for Ms. Whitaker. Sometimes she's out, 7, 8 o'clock trying to find somewhere for the kids to lay their head at night outside of a car. And sometimes they don't even have a car.
Right.
So, I know she's aware of those resources, and we actually was talking today about things, worried about the food pantry.
Okay.
And whether we would have those funds next year for students, because they utilize it.
Y'all got a huge pantry over there at the elementary school. It's nice. You got clothes and those kinds of things in there too.
All right, any other questions? Thank you so much, Ms. Paul.
Thank you.
Next item is Dr. Green.
Good evening. Good evening. So I would just like to say before I start with curriculum, just to piggyback off of what Mrs. Riddick Faulkner said, I think it will be quite important in the days ahead that we keep a handle on what's going on with our children, especially not knowing what's going to go on with budgets and child nutrition programs and different things of that nature. So it probably will be a good idea for us to get out and form even more community partners so that we can make sure that we have adequate resources for our children, because we all know that sometimes with child nutrition, especially, that's the only meal that some students get in the course of an entire day. So I think that's something for us to keep a watchful eye on as things begin to come down from different places, letting us know about them.
Absolutely.
That was all I wanted to say about that part. As far as curriculum and instruction, the first few slides here, the first couple of slides are just a recap of dates and things that will be going on this summer that we titled it Summer Venture 2025, with our different forms of summer remediations and summer camps and different things going on. So that is just a recap of what I've given to you all for probably the last couple of board meetings, just to make sure that everyone was aware. We go on to the next slide. I will just say that our AIG testing has taken place and is completed, and we hope to have new student AIG identifications prior to the end of the school year, and also to make parents aware of the new identifications so that by the time students come back in August, we would have used the time in the summer to meet with parents, make sure DEPs are done, make sure those students are prepared and ready and their services are set up so that they will be ready to go when the school year starts. So that is the plan. Our AIG plan, the new plan, will be coming to you next month for approval. It is due July 1 to DPI, so that will be coming to you next month for approval. I put remediation block up here because this year in, I want to say March, maybe April, we implemented, or we asked principals to implement a remediation block at their schools for the remainder of the school year, where it was a drop down power hour. that they were to use that time to remediate the students to work on those skills that students needed a boost in as far as those areas were concerned. I think the remediation block, for the most part, just going out and observing has been pretty helpful in most cases. So that is something that, of course, we plan to move into the 25-26 school year and make sure that that remediation block is implemented from day one. That we start with that block of time from day one, so the kids have a drop down time that they can receive remediation as well. So we are working on summer plans. So I've listed up here summer PD, because we are putting together some different forms of PD for our staff in the summer to partake in things such as unpacking the standards, going back and unpacking ELA, unpacking math. ELA will, I think it's math. One of them will be like just to go over and go back over it once again, because those standards are changing anyway, but we want to make sure that our teachers have the opportunity to go through that unpacking once again as a refresher for what they've already done before. So we will be setting that up this summer. We will be doing something with a PBIS reboot this summer that will also tap into MTSS. We will have many things going on this summer. We are also going to call our principals in for a day long. They don't know this yet, so they're hearing it tonight. But we will be calling them in for a day long training where they will be here all day in the form of some PLC, some just mentorship and coaching, just some different things going on to also prepare them, because just as our teachers need trainings and preparations, so do our principals. Sometimes we put them on the back burner and we just feel like they ought to know what to do. But in some cases, it's always nice to collaborate with someone else and see what others are doing in order to make ourselves better at what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we do plan to have something in place for them this summer as well. The next bullet here was college students on staff for summer 2025. We did interview and we had several students to apply. Some students were no-shows when it came time for the interviews. Some showed up and did very well. Out of the ones that we had, we do have 3 that we're recommending to the board. So at whatever point the summer staff may be approved, those students are listed on that document as well. We also, summer staff meeting, we will kind of put that on the back burner for right now, but that is a staff meeting that we will need to have with all summer staff prior to the start of June 2nd, when they begin working. So again, that will be contingent on whenever we receive an approval for summer staff. Absences for our summer reading camp, of course, through legislation, our 3rd grade students have to be invited to attend the summer reading camp, and they have to go through 72 hours of intense instruction during the summer. So we have decided, or better yet, I propose the ideal that we implement an absentee policy for summer reading camp. Because if it is 72 hours, we really need the students in the seats for 72 hours as best as we can, unless there's an emergency that comes up. So we are going to send out verbiage that says students will not be allowed to miss any more than 3 unexcused absences for the summer program. It is not required through DPI, but it is strongly suggested. So we will have 2nd grade students on campus as well for that particular time, and they will be bound to the same absentee policy. Because if the students are not here, there's not much we can do with them if they don't show up. So that is information that will go home to parents. Just a couple of things for you to, I have written draft on these items, just so you can see. Just a few things that we're working on. So these are just a couple of documents that will become a reality very soon. But the first one that we're working on, this is our tentative. The one that has, Ms. Jenkins, I have some extras here if you need them. But this is a tentative professional development listing of what will be taking place on August the fifth, when our teachers return back to school, our teachers and all of our staff for the most part. This will be a full out professional development day where they will have different forms of PD as listed here that the staff can pick from. And they must attend. It's not negotiable. It's non-negotiable. They have to attend. They have to complete their registration once we send the link out. And they have to be present. This will go on, I think, until about 1 o'clock or 1:30. And they will have lunch, and then they will also have staff meetings in the afternoon. So it will be a full day for our staff. And as you can see, they have presenters listed up here. Our very own persons from the district will be presenting all of these sessions. So that is one item that we're working on. Of course, we're having convocation on that Monday, August the 4th, and then our professional development day on that Tuesday. And then the second document that you may take a look at is our PD calendar for the year. Not sure where mine is, but I'll look on what the Jenkins do. So this is, yeah, I can see it on this one right here is just a listing of what we are proposing. This may change some, which is part of the reason draft is up here, but this is what will take place for the entire school year, for the most part. Now, like I said, this could change based on the need. We have done survey with our teachers to see what they wanted and what they thought would be of interest to them. So we've included most of what they had up here, of what we have listed up here, along with some other things that we thought were important. Again, we will have a conversation and define this a little bit more with principals to make it a reality. But for the most part, this is what our year will look like, PD, throughout the entire year, because our teachers and instructional staff need it. Not only that, we'll be doing some things at the central office level as well. And as I said before, we will have convocation on August the 4th. We're working on that at this time. We will have our administrative retreat on July 28th through the 30th. That's it. Any questions?
July 28th through the 30th,
Yes.
retreat. Where?
So
Is it in here?
It's gonna be in
that
town.
looks like it will be at Weldon Mills.
Oh,
It's not in there.
oh,
I mean, you all can always opt to, let us go somewhere else, but at this moment, it looks like it will be at Weldon Mills. And we'll prepare what that looks like for you as well, so that you can see that.
okay.
Any additional questions? This slide here is just all encompassing of our testing. You know that this is testing season. We've already began testing. WIGA and middle school have been testing. So the data is coming in. Of course, it's not ready to be given out at this point. We're just seeing highs and lows right now, like a roller coaster. We do have at least one area that has done extremely well, but because Ms. Davis told me I could not give you all any numbers, then I'm going to be obedient and not do so. And I understand because it's not, it's not final yet. It doesn't actually become final until DPI certifies it. But that doesn't mean I can't whisper and tell you later. So we are seeing some good things. We are not seeing in some other areas where we would like to be. But we are still hopeful, not giving up just yet. And we are hoping that our remediation time, those 8 days that students can get after the school year ends. We're hoping that we will use that as a time for intensive instruction. Intensive everything, drop everything, uninterrupted instruction, no phone calls to the classroom, none of that. We need to make sure that we protect the time that our teachers have in the class with the students. But we know that we don't get growth during, the retesting period, but we do get efficiency. And that's important because we still have some school grades out there that we want to capitalize on. So, any questions?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So summer remediation starts on June 2nd. When, that is prior to our board meeting, when will we get the staff list?
So.
We actually have a list.
We said you got it.
No, wait.
We're gonna get it.
Okay.
Tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
you got it. Any other questions?
I'm sorry,
No,
Dr.
it's a
Bennett.
good question. No, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Because I want everybody.
I
to
thought you
start.
had it, so that's why I hesitated. I thought everybody had it.
All right, thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Green.
Notice. Good evening. I stand before you to give you your May EC report. You have in your packets, the compliance, we are at 94%, fantastic.
Yes.
Excited about that. You also have in your packets the disability categories, the numbers have not changed much, we have 105 identified students at this time. Next, I have completed the draft of our IDEA grant. Yay!
I'm sorry, we didn't see the applause
Right,
sign.
right.
Yeah.
And I have 3 individuals who have agreed to work with me and read over it for me. Dr. Shotwell, Dr. Boone, and Ms. Burt Robinson have agreed to read over what I have, just to make sure it's aligning with what we want to do with Weldon and aligning with the budget that we will be submitting. It's due May 31st, which is a Saturday. They said that was intentional in case some directors need that Saturday, but I'm hoping we don't. That we can go ahead on and submit ours as soon as we get the green light to go. Pre-K updates. Tomorrow at 8:40, we will be having our moving up ceremony for our pre-K babies at WEGA. So if you have an extra 45 minutes to an hour in your schedule tomorrow, you would drop by and join us. It's not, we're just gonna present them with the certificates and, you know, their summer packs, and then they stay about.
They also perform, don't they? Don't they do like a song?
As a part of, they're gonna do a
Yeah.
little song.
I like that last year.
Yeah.
That was nice.
The applications for the upcoming year, we have 7 that Smart Start has already. We're waiting for them to send it back to us with the approval. We have 8 applications that were missing pieces of information that we have to submit to Smart Start. We have 2 applications that have just been completed that we would take over to Smart Start tomorrow. So right now, we have 17 potential pre-K students next year.
Versus how many we have this year?
32. We're expecting a push in July. They say normally in July is when parents start. They're not thinking about the next school year right now. But as the summer goes on, all of a sudden, everybody's thinking about the next school year, and then they come over. So we are still making sure you should be hearing about it in the churches up here. Miss Easter is giving it to pastors of the churches. It should be in Food Line, you know, the big stores, Roses, Walmart. You should see it posted all around.
Post offices.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what it is. But definitely a post office.
Okay.
No.
Work on their post office tomorrow.
Yes.
And the last thing we have is on May 29th, which is an optional workday for, Weldon. We would do a trauma-induced workshop. This is in collaboration with our regional behavior consultant, Ms. Lisa Taylor. It's gonna be held at Halifax Community College at room 108. It's from 9 to 4. There are only 50 seats available. It was open to the entire Northeast region. And as of right before the board meeting, we had 41, and out of those 41, 24 were Weldon employees. So hopefully we'll take over half of the seats. Any questions for me?
The contracts are for our review, and we're gonna approve them.
They're now on consent agenda.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we haven't read them.
But Jason has a suggestion for that when we do get to it.
But we haven't seen.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Bullock. Okay, the next item on the agenda, moving right along, is Mr. Yvonne Hunter.
Chill. You gotta break it down now, man. It's already been an hour and a half. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Don't worry about it. It's gonna be quick. Gonna be quick.
All
Good
right.
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just want to give you some updates on the new 612 high school, middle school. And I'll show you some photos of the excellent work that's going on over at the site. So as you can see, we have the the interior CMU low burn wall coming up, which is that's concrete masonry units. So the concrete walls are coming up. That's the interior. In the top picture, the bottom picture shows the exterior walls that are coming up. So that's what you're seeing now as you come down County Road or come across the railroad track. So it's all the groundwork has been pretty much done. They're putting the walls up. So we're starting to see, it's starting to take shape physically.
It is.
Yeah. I go next.
Looking good.
Yeah, so here you see, this is in area B, because they have it sectioned out into 4 different categories. We got A, B, C, D, and E. Couple of I think about 3 of those sections were concrete sections, so all that has been done. The other ones are they didn't have piping in, they're completing that work. So you see here, we have the sub base. The stone sub base here, where that section had, piping under, whether it was gas piping or, drainage. So they completed all of that. And, so steel is starting to come in, as you see in the bottom picture in section B. We have, steel that's being put in place, below there. And we just had a meeting yesterday. So they're talking about more, you're starting to see more steel to be coming in. Once they get finished with blocking, you're starting to see more steel being added to the structure.
They're bringing some additional crews in this weekend and next week to make up for some of the lost time with weather.
Right.
And the wing that you see that's complete is the high school wing.
Yeah.
So the middle school wing is the next one that they're working on.
So and actually you can't, you can see a little bit of it, but you gotta catch the angle just right. So you can actually see the middle school wall is coming up as well too. But you have to catch it just right. If you're going too fast, you miss it. But you can start to see the shape of it, as well. So that's just on some more plumbing that's coming out of the ground. And electrical piping is being done. Here in the top, you see your, this is your future football and track field in the top picture, so. It's almost here. We talked about yesterday, looking at, being seated inside. So, We'll start seeing some grass coming out of there before long, so get ready.
Yeah.
At the bottom, this is the entrance to the middle school house, so this is the bus lot. So this is where our buses will be parked, as well as where the students will be dropped off and picked up. Now, this is, what we're doing here in the central office here in the warehouse. At the top, you see we have that's the hallway that leads you out into the warehouse. At the bottom is a conference room. My picture got super overhead size when I uploaded, so you can't really see all the detail, but it's a nice conference room as well as the workspace room that we're having installed up there. In that top picture, you can start to see where the office spaces are. So we wait for the doors to come in, papers on the floor because they put the veneer hardwood floors already installed. And so we're just waiting for the doors, paint, and put the code base, and go to the next one, you'll see plumbing. So these are 2 bathrooms. We're waiting for the plumbing to get hooked up by the plumber, as well as the fixtures put in, and have the HVAC unit put in, and we'll be pretty much complete.
Sounds good.
Any questions?
No question.
And then we're working on a third, quote on the roof.
Okay.
But what we're doing is, there's, over the last 7 years, there's a new product that's out. That's a roll-on vinyl with a rubberized texture to it that comes with a 10, 15-year warranty. And we're gonna seal up everything across the way. So it will, I'm tired of this. I had a ceiling tile fall in my place. Miss Jenkins thought it was a cat or something coming through there, so she wouldn't open up the door to see what it was.
I don't blame you.
You know. I want to bring you into this meeting there, Miss Jenkins. Thank you.
Ran and left him right in there.
I'm sorry, say what?
Where are we with the situation?
So I have I spoke with the contractor, earlier this week. So we're looking for him to come in any day now to start coming in, prepping, tearing out what it needs to be torn out, and start working on getting everything that needs to go back in. Getting that fixed.
The room's all cleared out. We're waiting,
We cleared everything out, we just waiting for.
and the insurance is covered.
Mr. Hunter, do you have any information on the gate at the Whaling Elementary? I know they took the tie off and all of that. Have they got that done yet?
Not yet. We've taken so truck backed over the, fixture that holds the wheel.
Mhm.
And so we went and had that taken to the refabricated place. He had to refabricate it. And, but they had an incident from that weather we had the other day.
Oh, really?
Where, yes, ma'am, where that panel box exploded. And, so the guys they were working on it. So if you've been by, Weldon's, the welding shop right here on 125.
Mhm.
I mean, getting on 301. That's where we took it at, and, so they're doing their roof because
Oh.
it affected their roof and some other things in there, so they kind of put us, behind a little bit.
Okay, so what about the brick wall where the cafeteria at and the
Right.
dumpster?
Yeah,
The one by the cafeteria have been down here almost 2 years.
no, it hasn't that long. It happened in November, it has
It
been a while.
seemed like
Yeah,
it.
it seemed like. it.
Yeah, cause that's a eyesore that needs to go in and get fixed.
So, we had some miscommunication about that incident.
Mhm.
So I've just got back in contact with Cisco so that we can get, back on the right track and get that information to their insurance or however they're gonna pay for it. So that should be cleared up here pretty soon. We've gotten quotes on it,
Mhm.
but, the miscommunication was how it got to Cisco. Cause they were the company that
They're backed into
drove it
it.
back.
Yeah.
There's one more thing. I know I have a lot of questions. That sidewalk, right there by the cafeteria, going up the steps where the car riders get on it. Can't something be done about that? The cement is all busted
It's
up.
all messed up.
It's really messed up.
Yeah.
It's not smooth.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of rocks and everything.
I think it got
So-
tore up doing
At
the
elementary
ice storm
Uh-huh.
at the elementary.
Yeah, right
It's still
outside the
on the
cafeteria, yeah.
Between the cafeteria and the media center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
something need to be done about that. That's terrible.
Yeah, and one last thing was kind of, there's a glass, I guess, in the library,
Mhm.
at the
Yeah,
bottom
we
got it.
that's shattered, I mean, so, you know, that's,
We got NC Glass that, come in to look at that, so we can get that replaced.
okay, okay.
And one more thing, Mr. Hines.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
No, I'm finished.
Right, I was just joking with you.
Oh. You gotta be around her, she was joking. No, I'm kidding.
Any other questions? Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Hunter.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right, moving right along. Consent agenda, and Ms. Brett Robinson, you had mentioned something? Oh, you good?
And board members, with each of these contracts, two are essentially renewals with, Envision and, one of the others, I'm blanking on the name right now. The other two would be new. And, I would just ask if you are going to approve them tonight, that you approve them subject to further attorney review. We can put them on the district standard contract form. It wouldn't change the pricing or anything. Like with the two that are essentially renewal, they just need to be put back on the correct form. The other two, we would do the same.
So that was my question, is Little Peanuts, that's new, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Because I didn't think I had never heard of, okay. I make a motion. Oh, never mind, because we need to do it as a consent agenda. But do we need to do those separately, Attorney Weber, since they have to be put on, since you're saying we need to do it contingent upon being put on?
You could do them all the same, because even the renewals just need to be put back on the correct form.
Okay. We ready?
I am.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
There's, okay, it's my motion and properly second to, approve the consent agenda. Any questions?
With the understanding
With the
that.
understanding-
Further attorney review.
There'll be further
Placement on
attorney
the
review.
standards.
Placement on the
Contract form.
standard on the conference room.
Yep, that.
For that part.
Second.
Ms. Jenkins. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. And the next item on the agenda is break.
Madam Chair, I recommend that we continue.
I'll
just pass the break.
Break first. 9 has come 14.
I move that we continue and not take a break.
All right.
Okay. I appreciate that. I was wondering about that.
All right, next item is discussion. A, paperless transition for the board.
We have talked about moving totally online for our meetings and not going paperless. So I just want to know where we are with that. I know Dr. Shotwell was setting up some training. Where are we?
We have talked about that and we have older board members up here that are not comfortable with the computer. So we've been doing paper for so long. I feel like we can continue on, especially I can call because we are open session, but it's not a personnel item. Ms. Jenkins, I don't see a problem with us continuing to print out for her because she's not comfortable with the computer. I understand we did set up for training and everything, but she's not comfortable and she's expressed that, so. I think that there's just something that's minor and we can move on with,
So we're gonna continue with,
Well, I said that when Ms. Jenkins, we can continue printing hers and I need mine printed. I mean, I can still work on the computer too, but I still need something to write with. But as far as you all are concerned, do you want it printed or not?
I'm good with the computer.
me too, and my only thing with that, and I'm okay, I want everybody to feel comfortable. But if we're asking our teachers and our students to do things, then as a board, we're the head, we gotta do what we gotta do, but whatever is the consensus of the board, I mean, I
So how
support.
does the board feel? I guess I'm going along with how the board feels. Not just my personal.
Well, I think it's
just
only
one
fair
person.
for us to continue for Ms. Jenkins to give her the printed copies.
Cause she's not comfortable with the computer, cause she has stated it to me as well.
No problem. Just let them that want to, and I just get mine. We all can go in over there.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're
It's
saying.
good with me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, we'll do the,
Okay.
I can do the computer.
Okay. Great mind, Miss Jamie. All right. Is there anything else? Was that all, Ms. Burbine?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Cause I know we have been talking about it. but
Yeah, we have.
Not made a
And
decision.
we actually set up training for last month, this month, one of them. But anyway,
Last week.
Last week, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway. Save it. For future. Okay, all right, any other questions? At this time, we are going to go back into closed session. But before we go back, because some of you may or may not be here when we get back. For the sake of, you're present now. I'm gonna go around and see if anyone has anything to say, before we adjourn and go back into the closed session.
Thank you all for all that you do. All of your hard work does not go unnoticed. We appreciate you and staying on top of things and making sure that we're moving forward, as district leadership. Making sure that you're modeling for our schools. I certainly appreciate it.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, can I get a motion to return back to a closed session? Is
Make a motion that we return to closed session.
there a second? There's been a motion properly second to return back to closed session. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, and we are now going back into closed session. Thank you all again for coming out. Stay if you want to. It shouldn't be too much longer, but